a Brands radio station.
The disrespect of Aaron Rodgers has gone on for far too long. We set the record straight today on Theoretically Speaking.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is Theoretically Speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
I can't even believe we have to do this today, but it was brought to the forefront. I mean, on the eve of the NBA Finals, literally we just had Jason Kidd at practice saying Luka Doncic has a chance to be the greatest Maverick of all time if he wins. We could be talking hoops right now. We could be talking, Kyrie Irving is fill in the blank. That's what I wanted to do. But man, that quarterback out of Houston, Texas, he's only played 1 year in the league, but Coleridge Bernard Stroud IV. You know him as C.J. Stroud, the reigning offensive rookie of the year. He knows how to dart up defenses. He already knows how to win playoff games. And he certainly knows how to stir the pot. C.J. Stroud, who has this love affair with Micah Parsons, where he and Micah Parsons are going all over the world and doing all kind of podcasting and sports media. I mean, would you say, I feel like C.J. Stroud might be the first, the earliest professional football player to become like also a media star like this early into his career. Like CKatt, it's getting beyond normalized. Just 2 years ago, we were criticizing Draymond Green for podcasting through the NBA Finals. This dude's 22 years old, and he's throwing darts at some of the GOATs.
Making friends with the people that talk about him. It's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea, and he's definitely going to be a friend of this show, Theoretically Speaking, because he knows how to stir the pot and get people to talking. C.J. Stroud went on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast with Gilly the Kid and Wallow, and they were talking NFL. They were talking quarterbacks, and he was asked specifically about Aaron Rodgers. Now, we talked yesterday about how he said Matthew Stafford, if he played in Green Bay, Stafford would have won multiple Super Bowls, whereas we know Aaron Rodgers only had one and lots of playoff failures. We won't talk about that one, but this was the one that has everybody talking right now when he was asked, whose career would you rather have, Aaron Rodgers or Eli Manning? And we do not have that sound
No.
from the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast.
Because I know we wanted to talk about Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford. Who do you answer between those two?
No,
Eli and Aaron.
the Stafford one, he did say that he thinks Stafford would have gotten multiple championships in Green Bay. I'm talking more specifically about we don't have either one of them now.
We have the first one with Matt Stafford. We don't have the second one talking Eli Manning, Aaron Rodgers.
We don't.
No.
We don't. Well, you know what? We don't need it because C.J. Stroud himself told all of the nation, again, he's an AFC quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers is still an active quarterback for the New York Jets in the AFC East, that he would rather have Eli Manning's career over Aaron Rodgers' career. And to me, this is something that is, I think, because of who Aaron Rodgers has shown himself to be over the past 3 or 4 years, because of the way that he had his exodus in Green Bay, which was not the friendliest, it seemed like he wore out his welcome there. There has been a very weird turn on how we have judged Aaron Rodgers as a football player. This is the most incredible and maybe even disrespectful debate that we're having in 2024. Aaron Rodgers being compared to Eli Manning, and CKatt, if you boil it down to just who won more Super Bowls, of course, Eli Manning comes out on top 2-1 versus Aaron Rodgers. But have we forgotten why when Aaron Rodgers left Green Bay and went to New York, the talk wasn't about making the playoffs, it was about winning a Super Bowl? Have we forgotten that Aaron Rodgers, who played 15 seasons for the Green Bay Packers, 2 of which, if you can drop out because of the collarbone injury, so you would say 13 years where he played and completed seasons with the Green Bay Packers, and 4 of those he was named the MVP of the league. Eli Manning isn't in the same class as Aaron Rodgers as a player. I do understand that he did have a good career because of the 2 Super Bowl rings, but at what point do we have to get out of this rings culture, get out of counting how many championships a quarterback has, and just use our freaking eyes? Aaron Rodgers aesthetically, Aaron Rodgers statistically, and even when it comes to driving the needle on winning football games, is clearing Eli Manning, and it should not even be close. I'm surprised we have this argument going, but for argument's sake, let's just break down exactly what these two guys' legacy holds. Eli Manning, if you're talking about what he did in the NFL, CKatt, it boils down to 2 years that you can say, yes, those years Eli Manning was a guy that you cannot write the NFL story without, and that's 2007 and 2011. And it's because he had those immaculate playoff runs with the New York Giants. 4-0 in the playoffs, beating Tom Brady in the game that matters most, and also doing so against that undefeated Patriot team in 2007. Eli Manning's career is definitely not one to scoff at. But when you look at what Aaron Rodgers meant to the town of Green Bay, and if you look at what he did on the field, the electrifying throws, the escapability, the Hail Mary chunks down the field that were just like jaw-dropping at times to watch, and even the way that he evolved the game, like maybe we don't have a guy like Patrick Mahomes, if not first for Aaron Rodgers. I just don't simply see how anybody, a quarterback currently in the league or a bystander here that watches sports for a living, can ever say Eli Manning's career can stack up close to Aaron Rodgers. It's not close. Aaron Rodgers has more MVPs, more yards, more touchdowns, and he moved way more needles than Eli Manning ever has. And you know what? I'm not even being selfish, because if I wanted to be selfish and if I wanted to play to the interest of Theoretically Speaking, which, by the way, is on episode 40. We turned 40 today, CKatt. That's a big day for us. We deserve it. A little round of applause there. Eli Manning's already been a guest of the show. He's a friend of the show. If I was playing to the interest of myself, I would go out and I would say it's Eli Manning.
You'd hold the water for the guy.
But what the reason why I won't? The reason why I won't do that is because the thing me and Eli have between each other, me and the younger Manning.
Oh, you want that with Aaron Rodgers? Yeah.
Yeah. No. The one thing that we share in common is we keep it G. We keep it real. Remember on our interview with Eli Manning, which you can find on YouTube if you jump on YouTube. Of course, we stream daily on YouTube here for Theoretically Speaking at Theo Speaking on YouTube. Our interview with Eli Manning a couple weeks ago, he kept it G with me when I asked him to rate the name of this show, Theoretically Speaking. Take a listen to that.
Teams that are playing.
Gotcha. And on the way out, I just want you to rate this show name. This is a new show on ESPN 106.
Okay.
My name again, Theo Dorsey.
Yeah.
Theoretically Speaking.
Theoretically Speaking. I give it an 8. I give it an 8. 8 out of 10. Is that
I'll
good?
take that.
There you go.
I'll take 8 out of 10. That's a good grade.
8 out of 10. If Eli Manning can look me in my face,
He's
look
humping
me
your
in my
tires,
oculars, and just go 8 out of 10. He could have went 10 out of 10. He could have been a nice guy. It's a great show name. It's right on spot.
But he humbled you.
He humbled me a little bit. And today I'm humbling Eli Manning. I'm letting you know right now, the fact that we're even having a conversation between Eli Manning and Aaron Rodgers on who had a better career, to me is startling. And it shows me one thing for sure. We've gone a little bit too far, specifically on counting rings when it comes to our professional sports here in America. Like, have we not watched the highlights? CKatt, when you look at Aaron Rodgers' career and Eli Manning's career, 2 Super Bowls to 1, but one guy clearly better than the other, whose career would you rather have?
Yeah, you're wrong, Theo, by the way. I would rather have Eli Manning's career, not just because the ultimate prize is winning a championship, and Eli achieved that ultimate goal not once but twice. Aaron Rodgers still having a career, so maybe he makes it there. But even if Aaron Rodgers does get a second ring, I have a crippling problem in my life of wanting to be liked. And Aaron Rodgers, I don't really disagree with a lot of the things that he said. I don't hate Aaron Rodgers. I don't hate what Aaron Rodgers has said about football, about not football, but I like people liking me. And Aaron Rodgers splits the room. He's a divisive guy. Half the world doesn't like him, half the world does. Nobody hates Eli Manning. Eli Manning's friends with everybody. He's a king in New York City. I want Eli Manning's career.
Well, I'm not asking you whose media career you would rather have, which, by the way, both of them are setting themselves up to have one more divisive and one everybody's favorite uncle, Eli Manning. It feels like he'll have that Manning cast going for a while. Yeah, that's beautiful and all. It's good to be liked, but impact? Like, if I were to tell you to write the story of football over the past 2 decades, who would be harder to leave out of it? Eli Manning, who has the 2 Super Bowl wins over Tom Brady, which is like literally, if that counts for more than, like, that's 2.5 rings, if we were to be honest with each other. When you beat the GOAT twice in the Super Bowl, I feel like you get a little bump, a little Super Bowl bump out of that. I'll give him 2.5 rings or Aaron Rodgers, who 4 times was MVP, and I feel like for the majority of his career was top 5 in the league. I can't think of one single season where if we were making top 5 quarterback lists, Eli Manning would be on there. Matter of fact, C.J. Stroud, after his rookie year, is closer to top 5 than Eli Manning ever was in his whole playing career.
As a little revisionist history, the year after the Super Bowl runs, Eli Manning was looked at as a possible top 5 guy. Not that he actually was that the following year or the actual season of which he won the Super Bowl. He turned it on playoff time, but he was looked at as the whole reason why is Eli Manning an elite quarterback was a question is because more than half the people believed that after both rings.
Nobody believed Eli Manning was an elite quarterback. I don't think any. At what point were we saying Eli Manning is an elite quarterback, a guy that can lead your franchise? That's a guy you're going to pick out of the crowd to lead your franchise to Super Bowl runs in the midst of the mid-2000s when it was Drew Brees and Peyton Manning and Ben Roethlisberger and Tom Brady and Phillip Rivers. Eli Manning wasn't scratching the surface of those guys.
But that's not even the question at hand. You asked whose career would I rather have. I would rather have Eli Manning's career. After retirement, I would rather be in Eli Manning's position, looking back at what he did, proud of what he did, retrieving that ultimate goal twice, keeping everybody happy, a king in the biggest media market in the world. I want to be Eli Manning.
CKatt's cool being 500 for your career. Again, he was literally 500 in his career in the regular season. I think 117 and 117. Who would you rather have the career of, Aaron Rodgers or Eli Manning? 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Do you side with C.J. Stroud and CKatt and say, I take the 2 rings over 1? Or are you a smarter person like myself and say, well, Aaron Rodgers, he's the better football player, and also 4 MVPs? I mean, that's got to count for something. I know it's not the ultimate goal, but there's recognition by his peers, and also I feel like the gates of the Hall of Fame are going to welcome him in immediately, where Eli might have to wait a couple years, if you know what I mean. 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. When you look back on it, whose career would you rather have, Eli Manning or Aaron Rodgers? And that's the Baptist Health hotline number. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. Eli Manning or Aaron Rodgers? That's the question. That's really the debate. And honestly, if you're judging it by career versus just performance, it's no question who's the better player. But you do raise a good point, CKatt, that if you're just judging it, I mean, we stack up quarterbacks when we're ranking them and comparing them by their rings. So I guess another one here would be like Dan Marino then. Dan Marino's career. Prolific years, arguably one of the greatest passers of all time, and a lot of people's top 5 all time, but 0 rings. I'm guessing you're taking Eli Manning over Dan Marino as well.
I mean, not that far. No, Dan Marino. I'd still go Dan Marino. You don't regard Aaron Rodgers as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I think you regard that for Dan Marino.
Aaron Rodgers is one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time. If I were to steal LeBron James's words on Kyrie Irving, one of the most gifted quarterbacks of all time with what he's able to do inside of the pocket, off-platform throws. He really helped revolutionize the way that the quarterback position was played. But I still, even though he didn't have as many Super Bowl rings and he didn't beat the GOAT in the Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers, I'd take his career any day over Eli Manning. 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. That's the number to the Baptist Health hotline. We've got Steve in Wellington. You're on Theoretically Speaking. And Steve, you got Eli Manning's career. You got Aaron Rodgers' career. Which one would you rather have?
It depends on who I'm talking to. Who am I talking to?
You're talking to Theo. This is Theoretically Speaking.
No, but I'm saying if I'm CJ, who am I speaking to? And I'm answering that question. Am I talking about me or am I pandering to my fans? Because if I'm talking to the fans, I want Eli because then at that particular point, I'm saying to the fans, I'm going to bring you championships. It's not about my personal stats. If I'm talking about me and just me, okay, then I want Rodgers' thing because then all the personal accolades I got. But at the end of the day, you want to win, so I understand where he's coming from. So I think you're kind of mixing up what I think he's trying to say.
So you're saying CJ was just pandering to the Houston fans and hoping that they hear that and they feel like, oh, this guy cares about nothing but winning. And I appreciate the call, Steve. I get that side of it, and it does feel better. Like I would want my quarterback to say the same thing, that it's only about the rings. But if we're really being truthful with each other, if we take some truth serum and sit down and actually have a real authentic conversation, I just can't see wanting to be a guy like Eli Manning, who literally his career, it was average. It was an average career outside of those 2 playoff runs, which were prolific. They were magnetic. I'm sure if you're a Giants fan, this guy's going to go down as one of your favorite of all time. And Packers fans are divided on Aaron Rodgers at this point. But I still got to go Aaron Rodgers. 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. We've got Steven in Coconut Creek. Steven, we're getting a lot of Steves. I wonder if this is maybe Uncle Steve in Coconut Creek on Theoretically Speaking. Steven, Aaron Rodgers or Eli Manning, which way you going?
Man, you got to choose Eli. Like, I respect Aaron Rodgers' career, and realistically his career is kind of better than Eli's for a statistical standpoint, not kind of, definitely. But you got to remember, one of Eli's championships was over that 18-0 Patriots dynasty.
Yeah.
You took down arguably the greatest team ever, and you did it twice to Tom Brady. I mean, as a kid growing up, you never cared about your regular season stats. You wanted that trophy. You wanted that ring. And to get 2 of those rings and the biggest market in arguably the world in New York, you just got to roll with that one, man.
I got you.
CKatt, for CKatt to take Dan Marino, I mean, come on, dog. Like, let's be real here.
It defeats the
Dan
purpose.
Marino was great,
yeah.
but he got no rings and only 1 Super Bowl appearance in his second year and never made it back. That's a disappointing career.
That's a good call by Steven right there. And I agree, CKatt. You're kind of confusing me. You're kind of contradicting yourself by going Dan Marino over Eli, but then Eli over Aaron Rodgers. It feels similar, but how is it different in your mind?
Listen, man, I judge my life on the impression that I made on the people that I spent time around. And the impression that Eli Manning made in the NFL is almost as great as Dan Marino's.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers' impression made negatively. So I would drop him a couple of points. That's the career
crazy.
I want to have.
That's crazy. And also, Eli Manning's so beloved because he threw the ball to the other team so many times. I mean, did you know he led the league in interceptions 3 times? Like I'm talking 20-plus interceptions like it was the 70s.
You know how many of those interceptions were probably throwing out of sacks where it might have been a turnover no matter what, maybe an arm punt. Theo, you read these stat sheets and that paints the whole picture for you.
Yeah.
That's why you're a big Aaron Rodgers guy. Did you start watching football like after Eli Manning won the Super Bowl twice?
Right
after. What
afterwards.
happened?
Yeah.
You're just reading stat news?
I'm a big stat news guy. How did you know? I'm subscribed. We're bringing in Evan Cohen to join the debate and also talk about his newly founded fan rules. Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, which you hear here 6 to 10 a.m. weekdays on ESPN 106.3. Maybe he can settle this because I'm still on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, 4 MVPs and a Super Bowl win. It just stacks up way higher than 2 Super Bowl wins and literally nothing else. I've heard no other accolades out of Eli Manning from any of his supporters. Maybe Evan will be on y'all's side as well. It's no accident. Either one of these quarterbacks you pick, you won't find yourself in too big of a quandary. But if you do end up finding yourself in a car accident, a truck accident, a slip and fall, Anajar and Levine accident attorneys, Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine, they fight for you. And they fight for you because they don't get paid unless you do. That's a good deal. That's a pretty good deal for both sides. They're going to fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. Don't just settle for any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. It takes just one phone call to take back control of your life. So take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Evan Cohen settles the debate. When we come back, it's Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine accident.